Hi garden friends! Are you ready to pot up your containers with beautiful plants? Well, today I'm going to give you some suggestions about what it is that I'm using for my containers. So let's hop into it. I have several different varieties, and this is Proven Winner. They're all Proven Winners brand, and I just happen to love Proven Winners plants because I like how they perform. This is not a sponsored video. This is what my containers looked like last year with almost the exact plant combinations that I'm using this year. I've decided on several different annuals today, and I'm going to pop up some information on the screen as I go along. But let me introduce you to the players of my container gardens. So first of all, we have this one here. I don't have everything memorized. This is called Angel Face. It's an Angelonia hybrid, and it's called Wedgwood Pink. And I also have Star Diva, and it's also pink. Look at those beautiful blooms. I'm also going to be using my beautiful Stormburst, and that's what that looks like. And that is a Super Verbena also. I also have a trailing plant that I'm using. It's called Sweet Caroline Medusa Green, and that's going to trail over, whoopsie, that's going to trail over the pot and just provide foliage. I also have one of my all-time favorites. It's called Pink Cashmere. So let's hop into it, and I'm going to do a little bit of a demonstration to show you how I pot up my containers. Now, here's some plants that are growing back. I'm going to say that this is my Pink Cashmere Verbena. I've excavated this a little bit. I'm going to continue to use my potting soil that I used last year. But let me show you close up here. Simply dig a hole the same size as your container, and you will be assured that it will be the correct planting depth for the soil line as well as the circumference of the plant. Here's my continuous release plant food. This is what I always use to put in the pots. Please like, subscribe, and comment. So I'm just going to show you, I sprinkle a little in here. Now this is wintered over, and there's several other ones here as well. And I'm going to go ahead and leave that because I think it's great if it's wintered over already. I'm going to guess that this is my Pink Cashmere Verbena. So let's get to planting. When you have plant material in a container, they're heavy feeders, so they need to be fertilized on a regular basis, not just when you put the plants in, but weekly. So I fertilize my plants weekly. So there's pot number 1. Just a few more to go. I like to watch my plants grow in these pots. That's why I purchase plants that typically don't have a whole lot of blooms on them yet. I'll just clean up my mess here, and I'll be watering them in. And it doesn't look like much right this moment, but I think you're really going to be surprised at how these plants fill in. I thought we'd take a quick look around my garden, how it looks today. These are my Dusty Millers I grew from seed 2 years ago. And I really can't believe how well they're doing. Normally I wouldn't plant like soldiers, but that's what I did this year. This bright chartreuse ground cover is called Lemon Coral Sedum. Now let's take this combination. My Star Diva, I'll have to add a little more potting soil. I've already added the continuous release fertilizer. And this is my Stormburst. I thought we would take a look at the seedlings that I started this past winter. Some I started in January and some I started in February. And I'm currently hardening these off. And hardening seedlings off is the process of bringing the seedlings outdoors so they can experience the natural sunlight versus a grow light. I've had these under the grow lights for 12 to 14 hours a day since I started them. And hardening off means that we bring these out for periods of time during the day. Well, I start out with 3 hours a day, then I go to about 6 hours a day, and then I will go to about 8 hours a day. And what that does is it acclimates the seedlings to the natural sunlight, the fluctuating temperatures, and the wind conditions. So it helps your seedlings become a little bit stronger and sturdier, because even though I've had a fan running on them, which helps create movement and gives the seedlings a little bit stronger branching, it's very important to bring these out and get them acclimated to the natural sunlight and the natural conditions outside. So let's take a look and see what seedlings I'm almost ready to plant. Now these are my Snapdragons. These are called Apple Blossom, and I started these on the 22nd of January. And you can see that where I've pinched these back, there's branching. See that there? And what that does is it creates a more stable base for these Snapdragons. And these are called Apple Blossom. And these are called Chim Chiminee Rudbeckia. I started these in February. I've got the tag here. I started them on February 6th. And these performed absolutely beautifully last year. I was super delighted, and I will pop up a picture of all of these seedlings in full bloom for you. And these are also some Snapdragons. These are called Con's Rose, and I started these on the 28th of January. And as you can see, there's some branching going on here. So this creates a more stable plant because these get quite tall. Now these are my Gomphrenias. I started these on the 6th of February, and they're a darling little plant. I'll show you a picture. Here you go. And also I have Crespedia, and that's this here. And this is known as the Yellow Drumstick. And I've never grown that before. Also, I have never grown this before. And this is a Celosia. Now this is called Flamingo Feathers. You might not be able to read my writing. I started these on the 27th of February. And they have a pink plume on them. And as I said, I haven't ever grown these before. And these are also a Snapdragon. These here are called Dark Prince. And look at that beautiful foliage on there. It's quite a bit different than the other Snapdragons over here, right? And so I am almost ready to put these in the ground. I've got quite a few of them. And I know that I'm really going to enjoy it when I get some blooms on these. But I just thought that we would check in on my seedlings. If you haven't seen my other seedling video, I'll pop it either in the description below or I'll do what I can. I thought we could take a quick look around my back patio area and I'll show you a few more pots. Now, some of you might be saying to yourself, come on, Sally, you haven't put anything in your containers with big blooms and super fabulous stuff. Well, here's what I'm going to say to that. It's still early. Typically, I don't even plant my pots up until the end of April, very end, or the beginning of May. And, you know, I really like to watch and see how these plants develop. I enjoy the process of seeing plants come to life. And if that's not for you, I totally get it. But let's take a quick look at the rest of my pots. I potted this one up a couple days ago. And, you know, you're going to see how this is going to come down over. It's trailing. Now, a lot of gardeners have the school of thought of thriller, filler, and spiller. You may have heard this term before. And what that means is that you would have a thriller that would be a tall plant in the center or to the back of your pot. The fillers would be plants such as this that get medium height, and the spiller would come down over this pot. So there's a variety of different ways that you can do this. This is my shaded pot that's up on my front porch. I'm using these 3 Coleus: Limewire, Vulcan, and Serrano. These are beautiful Coleus. They do well in shady locations. And there we go. These are my 3 beautiful Coleus that I'll get a chance to see every time I walk in my front door. You can also make a big impact with just using 1 plant per pot, such as I've done here. This is the Sparkling Amethyst, and this is a heliotrope, which is a very fragrant flower, and it's going to get slightly bushy. And I decided to use single plants in these 3 pots. Again, the Sparkling Amethyst, which mirrors what I have on the other side of my patio. And this is the Wedgwood Pink. And this one is my Stormburst. There are so many different plants that you can put in your pots. But I think that you're really going to be surprised, and I think I'm going to get some spectacular results. I hope this gives you some inspiration for your own garden ideas. And I'll catch you in the next one.